frame for me how the West Side, because you guys, there's a multiple dance crew. Sometimes those dance crews became something else later on, and if you can frame it for me, I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, shucks, man. So I come out of the West Side, Mid City, right? Um, and it's called. I came out of a place called the Disco Train. And the Disco Train basically was the house where Buddha Bot, Tangerine, rest in peace, Dr. Hodge, Dr. Businessman, Robot Prince, and a host of other dancers that came out of the Disco Train. So you had the Disco Train uh, closer to La Brea, and then when you get closer to Crenshaw, you had a club called the Showcase, which was more adult. So
That's
back
off
in
of
the
Adams
day,
and Crenshaw.
yeah, Adams and Crenshaw. So back in the day, we had Parliament. Flashlight came out, right? So a lot of dance crews took the moniker of Flashlight, Red Light, Green Light, and Starlight. So after it was all said and done, those dancers that took those monikers morphed into gangs. Also, you had the Playboy dancers, which were lockers. They were dancers first, and it morphed into the Playboy gangsters.
So who did the red lights and the other lights? Who did they morph into?
So you had the green lights. The green lights morphed into the Geer gang, and the red lights they morphed into Marvin, and then you had the Playboy dancers that basically morphed into PBGs.
And that's that history right there, right?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because, like even for myself, I didn't start the name Royal Flush Dancers. It came from another guy, an older guy named Roland, whose brothers were schoolyard Crips, and so he wanted to get into the dance scene, so he started Royal Flush. From what I heard, he met this girl. He took off. I took the name. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, a lot of us started off as dancers and then morphed into gangbanging. I was a gangbanger and I morphed into a dancer.
So when you say you were a gangbanger, where were
Yeah.
you a gangbanger from?
I was from Blackstone.
Okay.
Yeah. Jumped in when I was 13. Lived on 28th and Bronson. City Stones.
Cities. You know Geek?
Don't know Geek.
That's his name is Gerald Hunter.
Oh yeah. Well, it depends.
He's from the city song, from the Biddy is what they call it.
Yeah. It all depends because see, when I was jumped in, I was 13. When I was around 15, I moved over to the schoolyard hood. So, but all the OGs that I knew, see, I didn't hang out with cats my age. Like all the cats I knew, they were older, so I hung out with the big OGs. I was the little OG that used to go into the liquor store and grab the beers and stuff and give them to the bigger OGs. You know what I'm saying? So all my life I've been protected.
Was the schoolyards actually Bloods? Or?
No. So schoolyards, they started off as Bible Crips, right? And then they morphed into schoolyards. But what happened was there were Bloods moving into the neighborhood, like myself and a few other people, and so it was schoolyard cuz it was undecisive at one time, and then the formation of Midtown Family came about. We had some guys from Inglewood Family move into the neighborhood. A guy from Boderack, he moved into the neighborhood, and a few other people, and so you had schoolyard Crips, schoolyard Bloods. Then you have Midtown Family.
So let me ask you this. Depending on the environment, depending on the influence, it could go either way. Because if your influence was pop locking and locking, and that's what was surrounding you was in there,
Well,
you pretty much went that way.
Yeah, my influence was popping.
Okay.
I was never a locker, so I mean, to keep it real, I couldn't even dance. I couldn't even stay on beat. If it wasn't for Buddha Bot, he's the one that slapped me upside the head and said, "Damn, man, you listen to the song, listen to the beat," because I couldn't catch the beat. I mean, I'm just keeping it honest. I could not catch the beat. So he pretty much taught me rhythm, and so there was a situation between West Boulevard Crips and Midtown Family. West Boulevard Crips were going into Midtown Family. I mean, Midtown basically, and Midtown basically said, hey, y'all can't come over here. And so there's a few key people that was like, yo, Vic, if you come back in the hood again, we gonna get you. So I had to stop going over there because I was going over there in West Boulevard's neighborhood to learn how to dance. So at that point, you know, I still wanted to dance, so you know, I had to come up with a group. Drac's brother.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Drac. Mr. Freeze. Yeah, so Mr. Freeze.
How you get that name?
You know what? Him and I was rolling together when I became Doctor Who, and he had to find his name, and he started calling himself Mr. Freeze.
That boy.
And yeah.
Wasn't he call himself 4 or 5?
That was his gang banging name, 4-5. Yeah.
That's Drac's brother.
See, I knew Boyd then because I got into Royal Flush later on.
Yeah.
And I became in Royal Flush later on after they was way established.
Yeah, I got multiple interviews with Drac. He's
Yeah.
recently passed on, but yeah.
And I knew Boyd before he passed on, you know?
Yeah, Boyd Pitts.
Yeah, because
Boyd Pitts.
he was already in the group when I got to the group.
Yeah.
Yep, so I appreciate Vic and them for letting me in that group.
Oh,
you know?
shoot, man, I wouldn't have had it no other way. Are you kidding me? I mean, when we were dancing against each other, I was like, wow. I'm like, this guy, you want to be a Royal Flush? You know what I'm saying? Hey,
because we had a manager named Curtis.
Yeah.
And did Curtis bring me over there?
No,
I was over there coming already.
You, cause of Karen.
Because of Karen.
Yeah.
They had it was a girl stayed next door to Vic.
It was the best thing that ever happened. There was a girl that stayed next door, and so
named Poopy. We call her Poopy, but her name is Karen.
Yeah.
And I used to love her, and I used to go over there and see them on the porch from after her house.
Oh,
see
you
them
used
on
to
the
love
porch.
her?
Oh, that was my girl.
yeah.
Oh, that was my girl,
So
man.
it worked out. It worked out well. It worked out well.
So I used to be over her house, and they used to be on the porch dancing, they had some hell of a routines and stuff.
Yep.
So I wanted to, you know, and I knew how to pop, and I was popping then too.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, let me go over here and one day and just see what they about, right? So I went on the porch and whatever, and they told me to get down. And I got down in front of the whole group right there. Mm-hmm. And they asked me to join them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lock the door.
I want